Hey, what's up, everyone? How's it going? All right, we're about to open up today, and I am considering longs on the index market to our current weekly high. So up here, we have our current high of week. I'll label that on the chart for us all. Okay. That's all the way up here. And this is my draw on liquidity for today. So I'm going to make this a bit bigger. This is where I want to see price trade into today on the NASDAQ or the S&P 500. And you can see, if I look at what we've done so far, on news, we created this 4-hour swing divergence inside of a fair value gap. This is a two-stage cracking correlation. We have this precision swing point in here. We diverge at it at the lows. Then you can see, in addition to this cracking correlation, we see news put in a new swing, right? So we have a new range. We come into a short-term high up here. This is a short-term high. Okay. So now we see ES leaves failure swings at that short-term high. In addition to that short-term high having failure swings, we see NASDAQ, right, is failing to reverse off this high. I'm looking at this dealing range. I see, okay, we have an internal range of liquidity. It's a fair value gap. I'm looking for the open to drop into this gap to form some sort of divergence and then to trade away from that. So today, the look is pretty simple for me. I'm looking for continuations off the open. And we'll see what prints, right? I'm going to wait till after the open, obviously. But whatever prints, we're going to see what happens. NFP was a pretty one-sided, right? And it confirms this narrative, right? So when we see NFP expand higher here, we come into this short-term high. I'm now looking for a reaccumulation into redistribution. So I'm looking for the open to drop into this gap, and I'm looking for some sort of continuation signature, right? I'm not looking at gold today. My focus is on index futures, but I can look at gold after I'm done trading indexes. Also, my camera's off today just because I'm like, I've been a bit sick. So I don't want to cough on camera. Okay, so into open, I'm expecting price to drop lower here. Again, I'm looking at this fair value gap as a key level of interest, right? So you can see this 30-minute is going to print a large imbalance in here, right? It's going to be essentially this imbalance that we're looking at on the 30-minute chart. Low of day is a bit weak. I like the low. I don't mind the low of day here simply because it's a 4-hour two-stage. So we have a 4-hour two-stage right in here. So I'm okay with that low, especially seeing price expand away from our driver. When the drivers confirm swing points, that's high probability for me. So we have 9:30 opening here. I'm not interested in trading an open high here. I'm looking at this imbalance right here in the 30-minute chart now. Right, so any open high I'm going to view as manipulation. I want to see price trade back into this gap before we do anything. So now you can see price has repriced this imbalance, and it should come into this imbalance here on NASDAQ. Now is where I'm looking to see if price can resynchronize to go long, right? So really, we're looking at this short-term low in here. That's that opening price, that 50-minute imbalance. That, okay. So now I'm looking for a continuation framework of sorts. Might even come in and sweep out this data low. Again, here's where I'm expecting price to find some support, though. You can see we're forming that divergence here with the YM. And YM is expanding, right? So I need to see NASDAQ reverse here. If NASDAQ can reverse, it is the leading asset. All right, let me get rid of this premium discount box. Look at the higher time frame here. Right, YM can draw into these highs up here. I don't think YM will come into the current high of week, although it's looking quite strong on the open. Right, looking quite strong on the open. And it's looking quite strong on the daily, right? Forming that bullish two-stage at the lows. However, the proximity to the draw definitely supports NASDAQ gaining strength and eventually being the asset that delivers higher. How does one keep up with all of that? I mean, it's just a few mechanical components, right? I have a continuation model. I have a reversal model. So we can see this needs to reverse in here. We see ES reversing as well. Now we'd like to see YM retrace while this at market reverses, right? I won't take any positions until I see NASDAQ here reverse. For me, it's important to see NASDAQ reverse before I look for any longs. Again, I want the market to be correlated, right? So as we don't see this market here, the weaker market reverse, then I'm not really too keen on taking trade in any market. Do we run out this short-term high? Yeah. At the current 4-hour high marked out, this is that 4-hour high. Again, my draw for the day is going to be the current high of week. So I'm going to need to see this market, right, give me some strength for all considering longs. At the moment, this is not giving me the reaction I want to see. So I'd have to see this candle here wick before. I really have to see this reverse, right? Or else we're going to create a new low. If we look at our 9 a.m. open, we can see we have some decoupled movement between the YM and the NASDAQ. You can see ES is nicely wicking here at this change state delivery level. Again, it has this failure swing of short-term high. I like the NASDAQ trade opportunity a bit more personally. not seeing any reversal here on NASDAQ just yet, though. Just gonna be patient and wait for NASDAQ. I think ES wants to reach into the short-term high as well, while NASDAQ reverses. I have this high up here marked out on ES as well. What I want to see is some displacement out of here, and then I can get long on this market, ideally. Just waiting for some sort of displacement out of this gap. That'll confirm a narrative for me. Just gotta be patient. You can see ES is pricing in these down close candles and closing above them, which is a good sign. But I need to see this market here reverse. So I like ES reaching into this short-term high and failing to manipulate it, and then NASDAQ giving me a continuation signature towards current week high. That's the look I'm looking for. I just need to see some displacement. This is really choppy at the moment. Yeah, it's also the open. We had news, so I like to let the open kind of play out. Market kind of shakes out some participants on the open. You can see here we have some strength here on the Dow. Nasdaq is just not showing me a sign of reversal here, which is why I'm staying out right now. Right, I need Nasdaq to show me it's reversing. So we just wait, right? I'm going to share my other monitor so I can move my screen over and read the chat. 1 second. Let's see if I can share this tab. There we go. Okay, you should be able to see just my tab. I'm just moving to the other monitor, that's all. There we go. I'm looking for some continuation long. However, I need to see price like realign here, right? I want to see Nasdaq trade towards our current week high or ES. So I need to see some sort of reverse signature in here. We have a 1-stage divergence inside this gap, right? 30-minute. I need to see Nasdaq actually start to reverse here. And then I can look to trade Nasdaq towards that current week high. Nasdaq is the strongest in the range, or the S&P, right? S&P is also looking good. They're going to let the 15-minute candle here close. Very likely going to let the 30-minute candle close as well. I just don't like the reversal signature I'm seeing here on Nasdaq. So we have a chain to stay deliver here on Nasdaq, but it's just really choppy. So again, I'm more interested. I'm viewing this more as a consolidation, so I'm just going to wait. For me, I'm not interested in this just yet, guys. You can see this is still quite choppy to me. This is not clear for me to take a trade out of. This sort of being patient is very important. I'm likely going to wait for this 30-minute candle to show me it's reversing inside this gap. At the moment, this candle here doesn't support expansion higher anyways, right? So I'm still viewing this as the range though, right? From this low to this high. I just need to see this candle reverse. So we have some time. This chop is not what I'm interested in trading. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see that devil's mark run because that's our SMT currently, right, for this fractal. So I would be less interested in seeing that devil's mark run, actually. So we have this SMT fill, right, with this 15-minute gap that we talked about. Down here. We're just refining that 30-minute gap a bit. So now we're trying to get some displacement higher. Now I like the current high of week here on the S&P. I just want to see a failure to manipulate this high and then look to trade a continuation here. The opening's been very choppy. We're also very close to our draw, right? So I want to see a continuation signature here, right, above this short-term high. I'll likely wait for 10. NASDAQ or the S&P. Even Dow looks very strong here. I just need to see this candle reverse, right? Here's my 30-minute gap. We talked about, right? I have that two-stage forming there. This is a precision swing point. But this candle here is a lot of indecision. It's really choppy. Like I'm just viewing this as consolidation here on NASDAQ. Right, this is consolidation. If I was going to take a position and be on ES, it's not a terrible risk to reward. I just don't like the NASDAQ structure at all. That's what's keeping me out of it. Like these types of candles are so choppy, I don't like them. I just view it more of a consolidation. This is not a bad entry for ES here. I don't know. I'm not going to take it, though, personally. But this is the trade you would take on ES. I just don't like how this looks. Right at this point in time, I want to wait for 10 a.m. I want to see how this candle closes on NASDAQ on the 30-minute chart. There's a lot of indecision in this candle, right? You can see. I'm not in a trade yet. No. Be waiting for 10 a.m. very likely. So about 5 minutes. I like to see this candle confirm this reversal. Afyz. Yeah, it's Afyz. I know, I'm just a bit sick because my face cam's off today. Or else my face cam would be on. It's really choppy. Very choppy. I typically don't like my reversals to look like this. Right? I don't like a reversal that's very like deep wicks, large retracements. I really just want to see a continuation signature through the short-term high I've marked out. It'll likely be a 10, guys. I like the strength coming back into NASDAQ here. I would take like a propulsion block entry here if it offered it. Yeah, this is not bad for NASDAQ, actually. I just don't like how choppy it is, but this might be all we get. Something like this. It might just go before 10. I just don't like how it delivers out of this low, guys. I don't want to slam that entry, which I usually would. Being a bit more conservative today. But this current high of week is definitely the draw on liquidity. So I need a pullback here at 10 into that chain to shade delivery level. And wait for after 10, guys. I'm not going to take this entry yet. Just going to wait for this new 30-minute candle to open. If you want, you can take this entry, though. This is the trade here. Looks like that. At this chain to shade delivery. Yeah, it is very choppy. I just don't like this reverse signature at all. But this might be all we were offered today based on the range. I also recognize that. Like 10 a.m. could just open high here, right? And the draw is very one-sided for me. That's the one thing. I have only a one-directional draw. I just really don't like this reversal. This is really, really choppy. That might be all we get. If that's the case, it just goes, right? And we just watch it. So 10 a.m. you can see, right? Shallow run back into that 3 minute. So this would be the trade, right? I'm personally not in it, but this is all I'm watching. You see the logic there. It's just a bit choppy, yeah. This is a decent trade though, actually, if you take this 60. We want to see 10 a.m. print a wick, right? That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for 10 a.m. to print a wick. But it might open high. You can see we're getting into a deep premium now of this range. So if it's going to go, it's going to go here. Even something like this isn't terrible. There's a couple ideas you can frame here. I might take a stab at NASDAQ here, actually. Yeah, I'll take a stab at NASDAQ right here. Just looking for that current high of week. But realistically, what the best idea is to see 10 a.m. print its wick. I don't like the open highs. But I think this is all we might get, so is what it is. You can see we're forming this structure. It's just a really choppy structure. It's not my favorite. It's nicer if we see this wick form, yeah. Common mistakes beginners make are just not trading a model. They just don't have a defined model to get in and out of the market. That's it. That's the most common mistake. Let's see if we respect this 3 minutes. Again, I like the structure. I just want to see some sort of displacement, a gap or anything. See, YM has this little fair value gap in here, showing displacement higher. I think ES is the closest to its draw right now. Yeah, ES is definitely the closest to its draw. Stop loss for now, this low down here. Last SD level, right? But I want to look to add. I only entered a small position. I want to see some displacement. Like, I really don't like this structure at all, but I know where the draw is, right? This is not something I go full size into. Like, I would rather see this retrace and then expand. This is just like really lackluster. You can see we're forming this wick now. It's nicer. Now we want to see some expansion higher off this wick. That's wrong. I'll add the rest of my position if it's offered. If it comes below this low, I'll just get stopped out on this idea. That's that 2R stop loss ahead. I think ES looks really good if we can get some sort of movement higher now. All right, we're coming back into this 30-minute candle here. I think ES is definitely the better asset to trade, or YM. But yes, in closer proximity to his draw. I'll cut my NASDAQ pretty earlier if it comes below this low. And I'll look to see if I can get involved in this market once it realigns. Like I said, this structure here, I don't want to hold any sort of long position. I just don't. I just really. This is really just like not very good structure for expansion higher. Okay, so that NASDAQ I think just took me out. Below this low. So now I'm going to see if we get any sort of realignment higher. Right now, you can see we're just consolidating. If I look in this, we're just consolidating. Maybe we'll want to trade lower, but I'm not going to take any trades lower. I'm just going to wait to see if I get any alignment higher. Okay. Market came back to our entry. Time to get in. I'm gonna wait to see something a bit more clear. I don't like this structure, personally. You see this deep retracement of this 10 a.m. candle, right back into the range. Look at the hourly chart. It opens and then trades lower. So we're going to see if it forms the wick. If not, then we're not going to get a trade. Simple as that. Another trade in this direction, at least. So we have this hourly imbalance here on the S&P, right? Yeah, deep retracements are not what you want to see, right? So now I need to wait for some sort of new fractal because this retracement from the 10 a.m. open does not support expansion higher at the moment. We use this as our higher time frame dealing range, this 4 hour. Yeah, could come back into here. Yeah, now we just wait, right? For me, I'd like to see ES stay in respect of this candle here. Because this was our 30-minute gap that we rebalanced on the open. You can see it. That's our SMT level with our YM, right? So I would like to see ES stay in respect of here. I'm probably going to look to trade the ES if I get any sort of move higher. I'm not going to look for shorts today. We're too close in proximity to the current week high. right? We have this SMT and this fair value gap right here with the YM. I just want to see a down close candle on the ES, and then this is where I'd like to get long from, realistically, in here. Why ES? ES is just better and closer proximity to his draw. It gives me a better candle closure here too. Closer to proximity to his draw, right? Look at the range. Yeah, this is where I really want to get long on ES, somewhere around here. I'm just looking for a better entry function at the moment. You see this current 15-minute candle, right? Quite a large wick, so I'll probably wait for the next 15-minute candle to open in 10:15. So now we've stuck to that 15-minute low on all assets. This low here. The current 15-minute candle definitely doesn't support expansion, right? So we're gonna stay out of this one. I'm not looking for any reversals either. So let's see how this new 15-minute candle opens. Open low or open high. Just being patient, guys. I'm not forcing anything. Which pair? Yes, bro. It's yes. You can see which pair I'm looking at in the top corner. S&P 500. Sorry, I'm just looking at the chart. No, I'll do a giveaway. Actually, yeah, let's do the giveaway now. First 4 people tell me, what size account are you currently trading, and are you in drawdown or profit? Let me know what account you're trading and if you're in drawdown or profit. I've done a couple lives. No, I've done a couple lives. I go live on Monday and Thursdays. Nice. Okay. All right. Cool. All right, I'll do the second giveaway near the end of the stream. I want to see if I can take a trade. But this is looking like this is a very, very deep retracement, right? So like look at this hourly candle. Looks very likely we'll come into this internal range, right? So I just gotta wait. This is not bad on ES at all. I really like the idea of ES longs still. So this looks really good. I feel like this would have been the best entry right on this SIST. See if we can inverse this gap. We can come into this gap here and then get an opposing candle closure. I really like it. see we have this small gap in here. I'm going to see if we get support in this gap. These two gaps here on ES. I'm interested in the idea of an ES long. If I see some continuation through here, you want to support this gap and get a continuation from it, I'll take an ES long. I really like this for a long. I think if I get a close here, I'm going to take an ES long. Okay, I'm taking ES longs. And my objective is current week high. And my stop loss is shown on the chart. Looks really good. Very, very nice displacement after our entry. This looks fantastic. Let's see what we get. All right. This is the trade we're in. Oops. I don't know why I just took off my position. That's weird. There we go. And we're aiming for that current high of week. We're going to take some partials at this high here. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to take partials at the high. Now we have YM running that short-term high, so let's see if ES can stay strong with NASDAQ, right? We want to see expansion from here now. And we have YM running this short-term set of highs. But our draw on liquidity is the current high of week. What's up, guys? How's it going? I want to see some continuation here now. Oops. Right, you can see YM comes into the short-term high. Now I want to see NASDAQ and ES start to break that high as well. I'm going to take some partials here. So take something off here. It's at around 2R. Just want this to straight hit the TP. I mean, that would be nice. We have a nice little gap in here. We want to see that support price higher. What advice would you give to someone who's just starting? You got to learn a system and approach. You have to learn an edge in the market. You see, like, I'm executing on my edge here, right? Then it reduces the amount of emotional turmoil you face in the market because you have a system, right? That system keeps you less emotional. That's why I like teach my students a specific system, because eventually when you have a specific system, you don't feel so much emotion every day. You're just executing on your system, right? So let's see if we can get some nice expansion into this high, right? So you could look left. Whoa, no, not exit the page. If you look left, we just have failure swings everywhere here. These are all just failure swings in the market. So it's not like anything else here could lead to a reversal, right? Like, look at this. All of these here are failure swings, right? All of this is failure swings. So you would not be anticipating price to reverse from anything else. Jeez. Okay, my screen does not want to properly load. You can see this level up here is equal highs, right? Where I'm taking my partials, equal highs in this market on ES at 6790. So if you look to the left, we had those equal highs up there. Looks really good. All right, we have a new 30-minute candle that just opened. We want to see a small opposing run, then expansion into that high. So our first TP is about to get hit. Let's see if we can get that off. Right, we want to see ES drive into this high. There's equal highs here on the higher time frame. So remember, we looked left. Over here, we have equal highs. It's a really nice place for price to draw into. It's a little lethargic here. Again, the structure today is kind of meh. It's not amazing, honestly. How should a beginner approach learning to trade? You need to find a system. You need to find a mentor. You need to find a system that works for you. And then you need to stick to that system and that mentor, I would say. All right, so we're getting a deep retracement here. Like I said, price is a little lethargic in here. I don't expect it to reverse. It wouldn't make sense for it to reverse off nothing, but yeah, we should see price hit our TP. Seriously, I'd be very surprised if it didn't, but we'll see. Anything can happen in the market. Anything can happen. What was the one problem I faced after I learned a profitable strategy? Sorry, that was hard for me to read for a second. Sticking to my profitable strategy. Yeah, adherence to my model is tough. It's one thing to have a system, it's another thing to follow the system, right? Most people don't follow their system very well, at least. So I'd like to see the S&P really drive up higher off this 5-minute gap. I mean, that's where we'd expect the low of this 30-minute candle to form at the lowest, right? If you look, my dog is growling because someone's outside. If you look, you can see, right? This 30-minute candle, I know there's a lot going on the chart, but we are right at that 25th percentile to 75th percentile of this move from the entire dealing range. It doesn't make sense for price to offer deep retracements in here. I don't know if you can see this, but this is an implied dealing range from the low. From the low here, right, to our current high of week. We don't expect a deep retracement when we form a swing inside of this 50% to 100% completion, right? This here should be the lowest resistance part of the chart. I know it might be hard to see based on how many lines and levels I have, but you would not expect deep retracements in here. You'd expect expansion. That's why we're trading this model, right? So we really want to see price expand here. I don't like how like lethargic it is. I want to see strong closures higher. Really want to see price pierce into these equal highs because there's lots of buy stops that rest above their equal highs, right? Yeah, I'm in a trade right now. This is the trade I'm in right now. We're about to hit our first TP. Our first TP is at around 2R, 1.95R. So there you go. Price just smacks our TP there, right? As we expect. So now we're holding a couple of runners, right, for the other side of the range, and then we're good. Nice. So now I just have one more runner in. I'm aiming for that current high of the week. This is a really fantastic trade, guys. What a banger. Holy shit. Good shit. Sorry for my language. Good stuff. Yeah, very nice. So now I'm just holding some runners, guys, for the current high of the week. Take off most of your stuff here. Take it off mostly there at 2R. And hold, one. I'm holding one contract. My stop loss is going to break even, okay? So my stop loss is now a break even for the rest. All the way here, risk-free, okay? Very nice trade. Everyone catch that W? Right, nice logic there. This is partials at 2R. Very nice. I just updated my Discord. So my students, they know what trade I took. And now we're going to hold the rest for this current high of the week. Very nice. Very nice. What habits have improved my discipline the most? Journaling. I also have, like, to be completely honest, I have students of my own. So it's really helped me improve my discipline by being able to see my students succeed and teach them, and they hold me accountable and I hold them accountable, right? So my community definitely helps improve my psychology as well because I'm a mentor, right? So that's definitely a big part of my job. I take it very seriously. I have to be accountable because I am a mentor to my own students, right? So that's definitely helped my psychology. Let's see if we can get any juice on this running contract, right? My Discord is not free; it's paid. I teach extensively for free here on YouTube, on my own personal YouTube, on my Twitter. My Discord is for where I teach my course, right? My personal approach to the market. I answer questions from all my Discord members and students. Yeah, it's a more intimate setting to learn from me. But I teach lots for free, so you never have to pay for anything. But if you want to learn directly from me, that's the place you could do it. That's where I just teach the approach that I'm trading today, for example, right? And then I also live stream in there. Yeah, you can check my Discord on all my socials. Just look up my name, Afyz, on everything, right? Twitter, YouTube, whatever, Instagram. Just my name, right? But again, right, you can consume lots of my free content. My Discord is just a place to get like more access to me intimately. Yeah, that's it. You can join. There's a link. I have a website. My website is latherustrading.com. So you can join through my website. Yes. How do you adapt your strategy when market conditions change? Great question. Really great question. I think one of the most important things to do is recognize which market conditions your edge is most viable in. I typically try to avoid consolidating markets. Now you can still trade consolidating markets, of course, but they become much harder to trade, right? So we might only get this high before a retracement. I'd like to see price hold above this down close candle here. So now my stop loss can actually go to this low right here, 26778.5. That's where I'll put my stop loss. This down close candle is low. I wouldn't like to see price come all the way back down into here if we're going to continue expanding towards our current week high. Okay. You can see we need to accept the prices above here, and we're going to see that in a lower time frame via a change in the state of delivery or a intra-candle SysD, which happens here if we get a closure, right? So this is going to be acceptance of that price. The biggest problem I faced after I became profitable was sticking to my model. But like I said, I think having my own students and being able to teach my model to so many, right, and see my model play out with people executing it properly really gives me a lot of conviction in what I do. Right, I have students who make like 5 to 6 figures a month trading my exact model, so it gives me a lot of conviction to follow through my edge exactly how I teach it because my students trust me to do it, so I have to trust me to do it. You know what I mean? It gives me a lot of accountability. I think accountability is one of the most important parts of trading. I'd really like to see a closure above this down close candle, and then I'd like to see a closure above this high. If we can break this high, we should be okay. We should be good for our current week high. If we can get a closure above this high, that's acceptance. We're going to be good to go to current high of week. How do I manage emotions when trading? Great question. Take your trades. As long as they fit your model, you shouldn't be emotional. You should just accept the variance or randomness of your model and know that your model is going to print you wins over time, right? Over a long period of time, you're going to make money trading. Over a short period of time, wins and losses are entirely random. I know it can be hard to think like that. It's very hard to think like that, in fact. That's why it's very easy to be emotional when you're trading. Extremely easy, right? All right, so it looks like we might get stopped out of the runner here. All right, my stop loss is below this low. Like I said, I don't want to see price come back below this 5-minute low here. We need to see price expand higher. If not, then it could stop me out. And that's okay. I got my 2R, right? It's just a runner. So if it comes back below this 5-minute low, I'll take the rest off. So this is going to take me out right at this low, guys. Okay. So I just got stopped out of my runner. I got 2R on my trade, and that's all she wrote for me today. Awesome. So this is how we manage our risk, right? For me, I don't need to risk giving back profits to the market. Here, I take my 2R trade, and it doesn't give me anything more than that, right? You can see it's pretty lethargic. It gives me a deep, deep retracement here, and it's not expanding towards the current week high. So I just take it off. Right? Okay, awesome. That's it for my stream today, guys. I'm going to send the winners through to Aqua. They'll reach out to you guys on your YouTube channels that you responded with, and I will see you guys all on Monday, okay? Awesome stream today. Take it easy, guys. Peace. Have a good one.